This production is being brought to you by Battery Outfitters. With locations all over the Mid-South, they are your neighborhood battery store.
Okay guys, so we're out here in some backwater along the Mississippi River. The river has just now began to sort of warm up. The water temps today are 47 degrees, which in my book means we have a chance at some flathead. So what we're doing right now is we're sneaking into a little hole, and I'm using the trolling motor to sort of slip against the current to get where I want to go, to just kind of back into this spot. You guys saw my DIY box anchor video that I did a few days ago. This is it. It's the maiden voyage for the version 2 box anchor. Whenever possible, I like to sneak up on the fish without the outboard. And just slipping back off your anchor rope is a good way to do that. And there you go, version 2 box anchor locked down for the first time. It's set immediately. That's a good start. Fishing spot porn. I think if I was a fish, I would eat that. But then I guess I'd be a hooked fish. I've got this rig about 18 inches underneath the slip float, and I'm going to let it drift all the way back to those logs. Now, typically I wouldn't do something like this unless it was warmer. I don't know if this will be the most productive thing to do here, but I don't know, it's worth a shot. I don't know if you can still see the float, but it's a little yellow 3-inch peg float, and it is right there within inches of those logs right now. Big skipjack head. I've tightened the drag way down on that one too, because if a big angry flathead comes up and takes that, I don't want him to get too many yards into that log jam. We got the smorgasbord out. We got some Asian carp, some skipjack, and some shad. All my faves. So we've given this spot about 35 minutes or so. Absolutely no action. So we're gonna bring him in and we're gonna go that way. I could be mistaken, but I think there's another little log jam around the corner. So, you know, maybe we're just too early for flatheads. Or then again, I mean, the river is extremely high. There's about 10 feet of water out in all the fields out behind the woods there. So maybe the majority of the fish are out there. Here's my my weightless slip float rig. It's a heavy wire hook, and I usually use a big piece of bait to do this, to help get casting distance, and then just a slip float. This is just enough to float something like this right below the surface. Looks like about 20 inches or so. I can drift it right up against those logs. There's almost not enough current here to take it there, but we'll see. Time for a 360 view from the LUCILLE 4. You might hear that sound in the background. That is because we are parked at the end of a runway from one of the Memphis airports. I got some lines on bottom, I got some lines on floats. I have absolutely no faith in this spot, but we do have the grill going. Got some roasted tomatoes and Victoria's Secret venison duck burgers. And even Lincoln is getting his grub on. Got your 360 view from the LUCILLE 4. Well, here's what it's come down to. All three of us have our bellies full. It's post-lunch. And I'm not going to say we're depressed, because we are happy to be out here. But we're definitely not catching anything. That being said, though, we had a visit from some of our friends. Joe and Jennifer stopped by, and we donated them some bait. They hadn't got a bite either. We haven't seen Al in Houston, but we talked with him through Messenger. No bites for him either. My suspicion is that the fish are in the fields. There's a lot of water in the fields, 6 to 10 feet, I'd say, depending on where you're at. And everywhere we're going, we're not seeing fish, so that's what I'm going with. They're in the fields. The river's not falling hard enough to bring them back out into the river, I think. So I might catch a little 30-minute nap here. I'm sure My bulldog over there would probably argue that it needs to be more of a nap than that, but then I think we're going to go to the harbor and we might shoot some gar. I brought the bow and arrow, so we'll see how that goes. We've been wanting to shoot a catch and clean episode on gar to show you guys how good gar really is and how much meat you get out of it. So take a little nap and then we'll see how that goes. It's just rolling.